Hi everyone, Nathan Hall here. We're looking at our last Astro City story. It is called Safeguards. We're going to look at three parts to this story: coming of age, acculturation, and metaphor. Why? Because we're going to see all three of these when we get to American-born Chinese, which is our next book. So a quick review: the coming of age, the Bildungsroman. We did that a long time ago. We start with someone who's young and uninformed. They go through a lot of bad things in life, a lot of changes, come to a new understanding, and come to live in a new way. You've seen that story many times. We're also going to look at culture clash. I have one big example there between an American cowboy and a French stereotype. So our story follows coming of age journey through a woman from a very strange neighborhood and a very strange city. So lots of symbols in this one. You can say the whole story is kind of an allegory. So you have some culture clash as well as coming of age. And that's going to make up a large part of ABC, American-born Chinese. So this is our heroine, Marta, just a normal woman who puts herbs on her door, has weird little runes everywhere, always carries around that Eastern European cross, enjoys a good bialy for breakfast. Put a picture of bialy in there. So she changes a lot when she goes from her home to her job, and she learns the hard way what's more dangerous, and she makes a big decision at the end about what to do with her life. So she has a bit of a coming of age despite being a little older than most. So you will have to answer an activity on this based on how well you read the story. So she has to deal with the pressures of her family, her traditions, and the strange city she lives in. So you can see here the stages, coming of age. You go from naivety to knowledge, from inexperience to experience, to a false view of the world to more realistic view, from idealism to realism, from immaturity to making mature responses and decisions. Another thing we had in this story, a lot of metaphor. Oh, hi, Winged Victory. We haven't seen you since you went on a date with the Samaritan. So what does she represent to Marta? Well, Marta kind of says it outright here. The sight of her, proud and noble, never fails. Her own rule. She does what's right without caring about others. Marta's not so much like that. Marta's a little more, her family's pressuring her one way, her co-workers pressure her another way. Winged Victory flies free. Everyone on the bus is like, oh, she's horrible. She runs a horrible cult. Oh, she's so bad. Yeah, well, she's only saving the day, people. And she shows up with a different face in Marta's dream. That'd be a good question. Might be in the homework. So another metaphor. What do all these safeguards mean to Marta? She's got her garlic, her mistletoe, her amaranth, her crosses. But when she runs into Slamburger, not so effective. Situation gets real menacing real fast. But someone has an effective safeguard. So another thing with Marta's story, we're going to look at something called acculturation. Technically, Marta, she's not an immigrant. She grew up in Astro City, but she grew up in a very strange place in Astro City. So she has her own traditions that she follows at home, and then outside becomes a different person. This is an example of acculturation. You can see here the different possibilities here. So if you're really receptive to the new values, okay, I'm here now, I'm going to act like this. You get assimilated. Well, I'm here, but I want to retain my old values. Okay, you get integrated. If your native culture treats you badly and your other one doesn't do much respect, you get marginalized. You feel like you have no power in the world. Or you can end up over here where, okay, I respect my personal values, but the new culture I'm in doesn't. The new culture makes it clear that's bad. So you separate. That's one reason why we still have lots of ethnic enclaves in the United States. A lot of people felt that way. Not so welcomed. So she tries to maintain her personal values in a world where they aren't respected or even feared. She could become assimilated. She has a few opportunities. People say, hey, come live out of Shadow Hill. Come with me outside Shadow Hill. But she makes her own decision. So basically, here's a little cartoon showing the difference from Baldo, which is, done by a couple of Hispanic writers and artists. You can see here the difference, acculturation. A group of people keep their own parts of their culture while adapting it. Assimilation, they get completely brought in over time. When we get to American-born Chinese, we are going to see a whole lot of this going on. So Marta gave us one example of how to deal with the struggle. And you can see here in this one that you get assimilated. our distinctly Hispanic family becomes some American cartoon icons. This dude's from Zits. You might not recognize him, but you probably recognize her when she has a football in front of Charlie Brown. Blondie, if you don't know Blondie, I don't know what to tell you. She's been around since the 20s. And of course, Family Circus is in there. So you'll have a lot of questions on this. Be sure to take some time to reflect on this. We're not going to do much of a visual element because we pretty much did all we can out of Astro City. We're going to be ready for American Born Chinese starting next week. So, good luck to you. Unfortunately, I won't be very available on account of the PSSAs. So still do what you can, and if you can work with another English teacher have trouble, go for it. Otherwise, if something really goes wrong, send me an email. That's all for now. Goodbye.